Okay, I'm just setting up the live stream. Shouldn't be too long. Okay. So today we are going to take the RANS 6S from FlyBoy Simulations, which they kindly sent me a copy of to take a look at. This is the new 2024 version of the RANS 6S. And we're going to take it for a flight around a number of the Orbx available airfields in Idaho, in the US. So let's go and have a look on the map and see our basic route for the day. We're starting out from McCall Municipal, and we're going to fly out to Wilson Bar, then go through Simmons Airstrip, Dewey Moor, Vines, Cabin Creek, Soldier Bar, Marble Creek, Sulphur Creek, and then back over to McCall. So it's going to take a good few hours to do it, if we survive, because these are dangerous airstrips. They are known as the Deadly 3 and the Not So Deadly 3 on the Orbx website. So here's a quick look at the Orbx website at what we're going to be looking at. So this is McCall Municipal, and you can see here it's really nicely modelled. Obviously we're going to go and have a look around each airport as we get there. Then you get the pack of the Deadly 3, which is Dewey Moor, Simmons and Vines. They are difficult airstrips, which is why we're going to be pushing this RANS 6S to its limits probably. And then the Not So Deadly 3, so Cabin Creek, Wilson Bar and Marble Creek. But there are other ones as well, so we're also including Soldier Bar, so I've gone and installed that as well. So we're going to be looking at all of these various airfields in the local area, and it'll be good fun to go see them, have a look around them, and see if we can survive in some of these very, very dangerous approaches. So before we get going, we're at McCall Municipal. We've got the RANS 6S here right in front of us from FlyBoy Simulations. So let's go and have a look around it in the simulator. Looks really nicely made, doesn't it? It's quite a simple little aeroplane, but that's good. So this is going to be very much bush flying all the way. We're going to be flying low and slow. I'm a bit overdressed for the occasion. But you can see the aeroplane's really nicely put together. Everything's very clear. Everything's interactive, so we'll see about that when we get the aeroplane up and running in a few moments. If we come and have a look around the body of the aeroplane, just to see how well modelled it actually is. So it does have interactive elements like the chocks and the pitot covers, so we'll have to go to the walk around mode to go and sort those out. All the fittings are all animated obviously, so you get to see all of this moving when we get the airplane up and running. So if we do a walk around, we'll actually go and give the control surfaces a waggle and look at those animations. So obviously you can see I've got the door open here. For the first time in the simulator for a 2024 aeroplane, they've allowed you to open the door without it switching you into walk around mode, which I am very thankful for, because it helps with making these walk around videos, or these look around videos, makes them a lot easier to deal with. Okay, so before we get going with the aeroplane, I think it's worth having a look at McCall as well. So let's just speed up the drone camera and move us out away from the airfield slightly, so you can see they've built some of the nearby town, which is really great. So that does mean we've got static cars, but I don't really mind that much, because it just gives that air of authenticity to it, that the airfield is on the edge of this road junction here. So you've got all the road furniture, which is really nice to see, and the nearby buildings have been kind of knitted into the scenery really nicely. So if we go and have a look around some of the buildings, so obviously we've got a hangar here, lots of people around doing things. Another older hangar with some bush planes and a bar. Oh, maybe it's not a hangar, maybe it is just the bar. So it's coming close to some of these. So the quality of the people is very good. This guy's reading the newspaper. I wonder if we can actually see the newspaper if we get close enough. Nearly. Okay, so let's carry on around. We've got an aeroplane here with the engine cover off. So maybe it is. Maybe the hangar is just on the outside of the... or the bar is on the outside of the hangar. It's very well done, isn't it? So various hangars as we go down the edge of the airfield. And some works going on with diggers and trucks and stuff. More hangars. There's a lot of hangar. Oops, I've just pressed the wrong button on my Xbox controller. Let's just get rid of that. There we go. I was trying to speed the drone camera up and hit the big silver button, which is not a good idea. So on the other side of the airfield, if we just scoot across, obviously you can see the taxiway there and the runway. We've got a sky crane parked up. Interesting. And what looks to be a really accurately modelled building with some people in it. Let's go in and have a look. So is this what passes as the emergency logistics centre for some of these aircraft over here? It's very cool because obviously the surrounding hilltops, in the distance there's all the Idaho fire lookout stations, and they've all got these radio masts as well. So I imagine it's like a huge grid network for communications. It's very cool, isn't it? Really nicely done. If we come over to the other side of the airfield, what have we got? Is this another fire aircraft here? Oh no, it's just a... looks like a 146 of some description. More hangars, and more buildings. It looks really nicely done, doesn't it? And I think this was us. I can't remember where we parked now. This is us here, isn't it? Okay, so we've had a good look around McCall. And we're going to go now and jump inside our aeroplane and see if we can get it up and running. So let's just get familiar with what controls we have, and I'm just going to go and look in my settings of the simulator and look at the quadrant controls. It's funny, lots of people complain about the new control scheme in 2024. I think it's fantastic. So basic throttle and mixture I've chosen, and resume. It's much different than the old one, but it's much, much better. And if you use it in a logical way, you can save yourself an awful lot of hertz. So let's go and do the walk around. So just stop the Xbox controller from drifting. Okay. Get rid of the chocks and get rid of the pitot covers. So I was interested to go and look at the mechanisms being similar. That's clever, isn't it? We won't be able to move the flaps, but we'll be able to go and... Can we crouch down? No, but we can... Oh, we can still see the linkages. So if we leave that one there... It's very cool, isn't it? And you can even see the control surfaces, the controls moving, look, in response to it. Very good. Okay, so Shift-C puts us back inside. And we'll go and see about getting the airplane started. So we probably need some extra fuel in the airplane. So we're going to go press tab and load the... Now, this is interesting because we've got some custom airfields in play, which means that the planner won't work. But we'll try it in here. So we're going to be departing from KMYL. This will just save us some time. Actually, that's a good point. Has this got GPS? No, it hasn't. Okay, we're not going to bother putting... Do we bother using the tablet to navigate? Or do we just tab across and look at LittleNavMap? I think we can just tab across and look at LittleNavMap. We're not going to need to do this. I came in here to look at fuel originally. So flight performance, mass and balance, fuel. And we'll go and put a bit more fuel in it. We've got quite a long trip to do. And close that. So the fuel is down here. So we'll turn the fuel on. And then we'll go and put the... So that's... You've only got throttle. You don't actually have mixture and propeller RPM. So let's have a look at the... There's the flap levers. If we go and have a look outside, see what the flaps look like. So they're quite big. As you can see, the side visibility in this airplane is going to be absolutely fantastic. So when we're looking around, look, we can look straight down the side of the airplane. So when we put head tracking on later, that's going to be fantastic. Okay, let's go and put the batteries on. And we've got, so panel lights, navigation lights, we'll go put nav lights on. Won't put strobes and landing on just yet. So AVCS, I wonder what that is. Avionics. So battery on to begin with. We've got the parking brake here, the vent, and we've got the magnetos. So very straightforward to fly. So we're going to put the avionics on now. Extremely interesting avionics. So in this panel you've got a little map and I guess the pilot logbook. It's great, isn't it? I think the breakers work. So we could play games with that. So let's go calibrate the altimeter. We don't have a... We only have a magnetic compass. We don't get a gyro driven HSI or anything. So we do get the tablet sitting up here most of the time though, so we didn't load that into the aircraft, did we? Let's do that. If we go, so maybe it would make sense to have the map up here so we can see where we're going all the time. So we can interact with it up here rather than pressing tab, which is quite cool. I can't load it in from the website because planner.microsoftflightsimulator.com doesn't have custom airstrips. It only has the built-in ones. So we're going to have to go and program these in if we want them. So KMYL is where we're starting from. We're not doing a procedure. Add en route waypoints. So add waypoints, and we're going to go to C48. And then IDSM, then IDDM, and then Vines I98D, and then I08 Cabin Creek, '85U is Soldier Bar, and ID8 is Marble Creek, ID74 is Sulphur, so ID74 Sulphur Creek, add, and then back to KMYL for the end of the flight. McCall Municipal, add that in. I think... Oh, actually, yeah, we can take that back out. So remove that waypoint. So KMYL. And looking at the wind... Oh, do we know that wind... I don't think it makes any difference to the simulator. We'll be taking off runway 34 in both cases. That's fine. So then we don't have to send to avionics because this has no avionics, but we can go and show the route. So if we click that again, if we scroll up a little bit, so now we can see on the map where we're going, which is great. And get some idea. So we can change the map on this. Maps. We've got the default one, terrain highlight or satellite. So we'll go for terrain highlight and have a look. So that's kind of okay. Let's have a look and see what the options are like. That's probably a bit better, isn't it? So our first leg is going to be out across the hills to C48, unless we go north and through the creek. That might be the better way. So if you look on the terrain view here on... there are routes through though, look. It's much more obvious on the Google Maps. Although that isn't much of a route through. You have to climb there for Duck Lake Trailhead. But maybe we'll do that route. So we'll go out east and see if we can find our way. So let me just go and close some of these windows up that we don't need anymore. We don't need Orbx. Whoops, no, wrong window. We don't need Orbx running anymore. I was just checking what I'd got installed. There's a GPS option in the checklist by the pilot's feet. Okay, so we could have GPS. I think it's going to be more fun to fly it kind of belt and braces. But this is cool. I didn't know this was here. This is really good to see. So we've got total fuel, we've got coolant levels, oil levels, realism on or off. We've got realism on. Equipment, we've just got the box then, so the GPS would appear here. We can have an autopilot or not. We're going to hand fly it if we want to. We could always put this on later on. Visual fuselage decals. What does that mean? On the front. You get RANS, I guess. Yeah. Reg number, tail, wing, and fuselage. So we can put our call sign under the wing. That's really cool. It's a nice little aeroplane, isn't it? So FlyBoy Simulations have done a really good job with this. So do we just click the margin to get it to go back? Yeah, we do. Okay. So where's the taxiway at this airport? We're going to need to taxi all the way down. So we're going out towards Alpha. So from where we are, right, left, and down to Alpha. Okay. So let's go and put the head tracking on. So this is going to be a great fun little aeroplane, isn't it? I'm actually looking forward to this because I haven't done this sort of flying in the sim for a while. I've been kind of rooted in the big jets that have come out recently. So I've been looking at this 777, looking at therefore at radio communications and all sorts of other things. As the windsock, and that agrees with what we were seeing in LittleNavMap, which is always good. The sounds in this are fantastic. So we just taxi down. Should we go and run up say intentions in the background, and we can have CTAF on. I doubt we'll hear much, So let me just bring the aeroplane to a halt while we are sorting say intention zone. So if we go into the cog menu and go to identity, we're going to change our code for RANS. I'm not sure what the ICAO code is for the RANS 6S, so I'll just put RANS in for the moment. Aircraft is RANS, GJ Beck, white, auto, RANS Golf, Juliet Bravo, Echo Kilo. That's good. And OK. So at McCall Municipal, we haven't got ground, but we have got CTAF. Okay, so then we can minimize that out of the way. How are we doing for sound levels, by the way? Yeah, you can hear the engine, so that's going to be pivotal. We obviously don't need the whole runway here, because this thing can take off on a postage stamp. So I'm going to take off. Turn into the wind here. I don't think there's anything else around. Nope. Okay, and we're off on our adventures. So we got a bit of a trip across the countryside to begin with, and we said it might be nice to go out east here and go through the hills. Just in terms of, so we're going to put the strobes on. We don't need the landing lights. Doesn't have pitot heat by the look of it, but it's got a very simple engine. We'll go and put the transponder on to, well, leave it on standby. We're not going to be using it for flight following or anything, are we? We should have it on 7,000, I guess, though. Should we have a look at it from outside? It's very, very manoeuvrable. Now there is a variant with bigger tyres, so I'm kind of taking my life in my hands going for this route without the big balloon tyres. Should we go along the edge of the water here? Okay, we're going off into this creek and we're going to then find our way through the hills, hopefully, to our first destination. So if you remember looking at the route, we're going to Wilson Bar. Let's pull the map up so we get a decent view of where we're going. And we can actually see in here the name of some of these places. So this pass here, we've got a couple of big peaks that are nearby, but we'll just follow the map. do with zooming this in a bit, couldn't we? So, Forrest is saying this looks cool. Yeah, we've got a lot of very good bush strips on the route. We've got about a 40-mile trip to get to them, though. They are secluded, they are dangerous. So they're marketed on the Orbx website as the Idaho Deadly 3 and the Not So Deadly 3. I looked at one of them yesterday and was just too tired to do this live stream. I looked at one of them yesterday and I crashed the aeroplane on my first go, but then I kind of got into the swing of it and it was great fun. So we're going left up the next creek. Just going to trim the airplane out slightly so it doesn't put ourselves in the ground if I let go of the stick. So just trundling along about 100 knots, seems to be about good. So let's have a look at the instrument, see what we've got. Oh, temperatures and pressures are good. The battery charge is great. Coolant is fine. RPM is a little high, but doesn't seem to be hurting it. If I push max full throttle, we go into the border of the red. We don't go into the red. Interesting. My phone away from the screen because it keeps doing notifications. But yeah, this is perfect just for looking at live stream comments, being able to just glance up and see the map. It's very, very good. Quite cool, isn't it? And you've got the fuel level up there, look, with the just a pipe showing the level. That's very clever. Such a simple and obvious way to do it, because obviously the fuel is in the wings. It's really, really well put together, isn't it? We've got the canvas sunshades overhead. Can we manipulate those? Yes, we can. So let's pull the sunshades back so we get a better view overhead. Very cool. Ought to look where I'm going rather than looking at the aeroplane while we're flying. It's very, very good though. So you'll notice looking at our altitude, we're already at 6,000 feet. So we are climbing. The further we go into the hills, the higher we get. So these various creeks, I don't know if we're going to descend again, we'll find out when we get there. But it could be interesting. We're going to try and land at each creek, so we can then get the camera out and go and have a look around and explore the scenery. C48 is our first port of call. Better try and avoid these treetops. Just whizzing past the top of them. Right, now, do we carry on in a straight line, or I think we can straight line this, can't we? open the throttle a little bit more. So we're going to gently start climbing. And once we get over this ridge line, we'll be able to see what is in front of us and whether we want to go round or straight over the top. So this is the bit I kind of mentioned about, that there might be a few bits. Yeah, here we are, look. The bit where we had to climb over the trailhead. Then we can go down the next valley. But yeah, the plane is amazingly well made. There isn't an area of it where there's a bad texture or a bad piece of modelling. It looks incredible. Looking at it from outside, same story. And it appears to be gathering dirt as well. Okay, let's stay a little bit higher so we get some vision out to the sides rather than just a tree-lined valley. If we come in past the rock faces fairly close, we get to see the resolution of them. I think they're pretty good. Yeah, it looks pretty good, doesn't it? Getting a feel for it. So can we side slip? Yes, we can. So we're going that way. I'm just forcing the airplane into a side slip. Let's get up close to the edge of the canyon, or creek I should say, just so we can have a look at the textures. It's impressive, isn't it? So 2024 just knocks it out of the park for this sort of flying. Oh, look what I'm doing really, didn't I? Make everybody feel seasick. We're fine. Okay, so we're going to turn left again at the end of this canyon. Let's have a look on the map. Going to follow this round to the left and then see what we come up to next. The rocks are getting a bit more jagged. It's funny, isn't it? Living the other side of the world. Oh, by the way, for the weather, I've rewound it to yesterday's weather, which is obviously it's dark there at the moment. It's the early hours of the morning in Idaho. So one of the wonderful features of 2024 is you can rewind the weather over the past 24 hours. So you can relive specific weather conditions that were going on. So that's how I've got the live weather for yesterday afternoon. Okay, so we need to climb over the top of this ridge. We're doing 100 knots. Not really tried out the climb performance, but it's a nice wide area here, so we'll stay to one side in case we do need to circle. See the airspeed dropping off. This thing will be good down to sort of 30 knots, so we're not going to worry too much. Yeah, it climbs like crazy, doesn't it? Not a problem. I'm just staying this side so we could circle if we needed to, though. Seems odd being able to look out through the roof, doesn't it, when you're manoeuvring? Very funny. So we can straight line this. We've got sufficient altitude now, unless we want to fly along the creek beds. But there's not always a neat route, which is always a problem. Let's have a look. We're about halfway to the first accident scene. But it does, flying these little planes does really lend itself to using head tracking as well, I have to say. So the Tobii Eye Tracker really becomes a huge benefit with them. So obviously I can just look down to see what we're going past and so on and so forth. It makes it very, very easy. Okay, let's move the map so we can see that first airfield coming. So there is a little strip here, but it's not one of the ones I have scenery for. Keeping an eye on the airspeed, we're climbing like crazy at the moment. In fact, I'm going to pull away from here. I'm not happy with that. Just keeping an eye on the altitude indicator because we can't see the horizon at the moment and we are getting quite high. We might start to run into issues with the aeroplane performance. Climbing, climbing, climbing. I'm not happy. We're losing airspeed. And there's a huge ridge in front of us. We may have to circle. It's going to get dangerous. Yeah, we're circling. There's no way we're going to clear that. No wonder. Look, you turn around, look at the climbing we've just done coming up this valley. So we're just going to gently climb, make sure the airspeed doesn't get too low. Keep an eye on the slip indicator as well. Try and keep the aeroplane flying or pointing in the direction it's going for efficiency. And we're going to get there this time. We fly along this ridge line and climb along it. And then just tip over the edge. carry on our way and relax a little bit. So the weather is not looking great out in front of us. We may have torrential rain to deal with when we get to some of these creek airstrips, which is going to be fun. We started out in sunshine. So someone said, can you see the bears? So I'm going to start taking notice whenever we see anything slightly different on the ground. I didn't know we were going to be seeing bears out here, but if we keep an eye out, we might see some wildlife around. Nope. So, is that one of the fire lookouts that's up here, maybe, that's appearing on the map? Let's go and have a look. It may be. Let's have a look on... Is it Warren? USFS Fire Service. So let's go a little bit out of our way to go visit it. Here comes the rain. So we're heading straight for it. Is it down the other side in this valley, maybe? Is that an airstrip? No. Okay, it's down here. I'm presuming that is the airstrip, the dirt strip we can see down there. Okay. So if we... which way's the wind? Can we see? We're going into the wind now, so this is the safer direction to come in from. We'll do a touch and go, shall we? Okay, we'll carry on to our first official stop. The RANS 6S is not a stock aeroplane. Just looking at live stream comments from Paul. I was sent it by FlyBoy Simulations a couple of days ago. He said, would you like to look at the new 2024 version of the RANS 6S? So they sent me a copy to show everybody, basically, which is what I'm doing. So that's the whole reason for today's flight. I don't usually do bush flying, so this is good fun for me. It's not something that's in my wheelhouse, as they say. But it's good fun. So as a side quest then to showing the RANS 6S, we're obviously taking it around these deadly and not so deadly airports, which are just coming up in a few miles' time. So about 12 miles out from us at the moment is the first of them. So the first of them that we'll be visiting is Wilson Bar. So this has obviously all been logged, looking at the textures around some of the top of these hills. So they've cleared a path, and I guess part of that is the fire protection as well, isn't it? Managed forests and so on. Well, we've got great weather for the trip, haven't we? I didn't anticipate this, but it makes it look more atmospheric, doesn't it, in the forests with the rain. Oh my word, streaming over the windows now. Let's hope we come through the other side of this a few miles on, hey? It's actually getting worse. Well, luckily we have GPS. We don't have IMC instruments though. But we do have the GPS, and we've got a working attitude indicator. And we've got a working airspeed indicator, so we've got just about enough to be able to deal with anything. And we have got about half a mile visibility to a mile. Actually, no, it's a couple of miles, isn't it? It's just rain. At least we're in here in the dry, hey? Shall we look at it from outside? Maybe we do go and put those landing lights on now, so people can actually have a hope of seeing us. Oh, one light. Come to Idaho, they said. It'll be lovely, they said. No, I'm sure we'll fly through the other side of this soon. Famous last words, of course. Is it brightening up, maybe? It's a rainbow. See, now rainbows form in the water, so that means there's rain over there. But it is brightening up, look, we're coming out of it. It's a localized shower. Famous last words. But looking at the clouds up there, look, there's no rain bursts in front of us. There is some over there, and there's some over there, but not where we're going, which is good. Yeah, it's clearing up, look. Oh, that's the airspeed warning. Now, have I actually damaged the engine? Engine health, yep. Now, can I repair it while we're in the air? Apparently not. There might be a way. I haven't looked at the documentation yet. So we have actually damaged the engine, so we're going to be limping. Okay, we need to land somewhere. Does that look like a landable area down here alongside the river? Or did we get... Well, I think we tried to get to our destination. So that's the pistons you can hear. Knocking. So operator Starsky tells us we need to land, turn off the realism for 10 seconds, turn it back on to repair the engine. So I'm just looking, hopefully, at this stretch of grass down here next to the river. I think that's a good place to maybe land to get the repair done. But I think we can limp. We're almost where we're wanting to go. If we keep our altitude for the moment, so we don't have to try and put any power down. Because we're limping at the moment, we're not having to go dead stick. No, I think we could land there, you know. That is a strip, isn't it? That isn't the one we're actually heading for, is it? It's another one, isn't it? So maybe it's modelled. So we're going to limp down into there. So we'll just go and turn in the valley over here. Well, we're seeing all the facets of the aeroplane by accident. So flaps down. I'm going to have to lift the flaps. I think I'm about to lose the engine. Yeah, I've lost all power, so I'm gliding. Dead stick time. So flaps up, maximum airspeed, and drop them now. Oh, it's a shame they've done that with the textures. Okay, so turn the realism off. 10 seconds. Engine is off. Oh, do we have to actually turn the mags off? 3004, 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010. Yay! That's really cool. Okay, so now we will look after the engine a bit more and not just race along flat out all the way. So we're making our way to our first official stop, which is Soldier Bar. There's a nice bridge here, look. Right. So keep our eyes peeled for the airfield. We may have to orbit and come back. Is this it? I think it might be. Yep, that was it. So let's try and orbit and come back. I'm just going to check. The wind is, yeah, suit's coming in. Well, we have to come in this way, it's the only way. And the rain's chasing us, isn't it? So I'm trying to side slip it in. Oh, it won't steer. Don't hit the tree. That wasn't my finest hour. I had lots more runway to play with. I shouldn't really be trying to stop them on a postage stamp. So we'll trundle down, have a little look around. It's a twin otter. Simulator is amazing, isn't it? So a turning area and a warning sign to people, telling people don't walk past here. It's a wrong way. And we're going to go for what we're going to do. We're going to follow the valley. There's no way we're going to turn then without hitting the wall. I wouldn't have thought, or it would have been dangerous. We need some airspeed. So we'll follow the valley. And airspeed's coming up. Awesome. So then we can turn around and go the direction we want to go. So we'll hug the left side. Keep the airspeed up. And I'm racing the engine again. We need to be careful of that. So if we follow the valley, will that take us straight to the next one? Let's have a look at the map here. We may have been better off to go round. Yeah, I'm going to go round. So if we follow the natural route of the water, it takes us straight to the next airfield. Yeah, so we're going to go round this corner and follow, or most of the way. It takes us straight out of here anyway. Whoa. wonder if we can get up above the cloud up here. What's the speed like? Yeah, if we follow this way. Okay, let's keep an eye on it. I went and raced the engine again then for a few seconds, which probably hurt it. Oh no, it's fine. So, just need to be careful that we don't go and absolutely slaughter the engine again. Does this get grass where it's green? Does the simulator do that? Let's have a look. It's going close to the hillside. Yes, it does. So, next airfield on our journey is a little way down. So 24 miles over to Simmons airstrip, and then we've got a series of airfields, one after another, that are either not so deadly or deadly, according to the book. Having to be careful about the wind whistling through these valleys, of pulling us into hillsides, because the simulator can do that to you. You can see there, look, we've got a downdraft that's sucking us to the floor. Happening again. So if you get the wind barreling down a hillside, you'll go with the mass of air, and it can slam you into the opposite hillside. Although it will curl around the bottom of the valley and take you back up the other side with it. So you end up slope soaring, going back up the opposite side of the valley. So I'm just keeping an eye on my attitude indicator here, look, because we're climbing a little bit. It's very difficult with no visual reference of the horizon, and obviously we're climbing into the hills here. Yeah, local knowledge would be invaluable for these sort of flights, for knowing, you know, which valleys are the most dangerous when the wind is from a certain direction. It's doing it again. Look, we're being forced into the floor. We've got nose up, and we're actually, although we're trying to, no, it's a false flat as well. That's also what's happening. So I'm trying to hug the tree line. We may end up crashing, you know, unless I can find a way out of here to the right. This is getting extremely dangerous. We're getting a little bit of airspeed back. I don't want to race the engine too much, we'll end up smashing the engine up. Look at the nose up attitude of the aeroplane. We're going uphill and we're not going to make it. Just push the flaps down. Now we're going to stall. Obviously the simulator's not simulating us hitting the trees, so we're going to crash any moment unless we are extremely lucky. Can't see anything. Yeah, there we go. Which gives us 1,000 feet to play with. And that is the danger of flying in areas you don't know. We should have turned back. But it just shows you how, as the conversation we were just having about local knowledge is everything. Okay, let's give the landscape a healthy margin so we don't end up in the same situation. So we didn't even get to the deadly airfields before we crashed the plane. I kind of predicted at the start we'd end up crashing quite a lot, but I didn't think it would happen on the way. But again, that's just from flying treetop level and entering canyons that you've got no way out of. Which is why so we're going to hit problems again, aren't we? I'm going to have to hit the flaps and go full throttle. Just pop over the top of the hill. Turn the speed into altitude and then come off the throttle again before we smash the engine up. So look, we're 8,200 feet. We've been climbing the whole time. Look at that, nose up attitude, and we are losing altitude. The airplane does not like it up here one bit. Which way is the wind? So the wind is coming in from that side, coming over the top, barreling down here and pushing us down. When we were closer to that side of the valley, we were descending while trying to climb. The wind isn't that fast. If it was much faster, we'd be... Oh, it is, look, 15 knots is gusting. That's why we keep seeing that happen with the aeroplane sink. If we stay away from the leeward side of the hills, we'll be okay. We're just looking for the lowest point out at the moment. If we stay away from the hills and get a bit more altitude, we'll be okay. But the visibility is so poor that we can't really avoid it. We might be okay now if we can stay away from the steep valleys. Yeah, suddenly getting a ton of lift. We're getting the wind coming up the side of the hill on our right, and it's lifting us like a... Look, you can see it happening, look, like an elevator. Because the airplane's just level. It's going upstairs. It's a brilliant example of the physics modelling in the simulator. So let's stay high, shall we? And admire the view. If we go a little bit... which way's the wind? Is it across us now? Yeah. So the wind is... or the rain is coming from the right to the left. I was just thinking of flying over that side to get out of the rain, but it's coming this way. So it will catch up with us anyway. May as well just plod on. So I'm just looking at this, the way it's modelled. There's a clear border. Is that an oversight in the design of the aeroplane? Maybe. Because it's moving around. I think it's part of the model. Okay, we're into the dangerous airstrips in a few moments. They're only a couple of miles apart, each one. I'm going to stay high. I don't want to get ourselves into a unrecoverable situation again. Although it was really good to see it in the sim, to see how it happens. Okay, so we're only a few miles out now. Let's have a look at those windows from outside. Oh yes, you can see they are slightly bubbled. Yeah, slightly convex. That's the edge that you can see then. Very cool. We're coming out of the weather though, the more we go this direction, which is really good news. So I've been racing the engine quite hard. Let's go and have a look, see if it's still happy with us or not. Yeah, it seems happy enough. How are we doing for fuel? About halfway. So we'll straight line this across the peaks. Let's go and have a look at the map while we can. Okay, Simmons Airstrip. We're going to first. I guess we can follow the creek back around to get to Dewey, because we're going to have to descend down into the creek to get there. It's alongside the river. So I've just left this trimmed out, by the way, and it's quite happily tootling along. Which way's the wind? So it's behind us, so we'll be pushed up the ridge by the wind. The danger is when you have a headwind into a big ridge and it comes over the ridge and pulls you downwards, and if you come in at ridge height, you start to be pushed down on approach, and you lift, you know, it's a typical catch-22. You lift up, you lose airspeed. So we've got the wind behind us, remember, so we'll see ourselves be pulled down as we come over the edge of the ridge. In fact, it's already happening, which was weird. So I think it's down here somewhere. Yeah, it's just round the corner, sort of about there. Let's go and straighten the view up. So I'm just reading the comments there about not going and setting out when it's raining in the backcountry, but this is a simulator. This gives us the opportunity to show why, without causing any monetary or physical damage to anything or anybody. I did a video years ago, or a couple of years ago now, doing the what they call the dead man's. No, what was it called? The what's the nickname when you lose engine power on climb out in a GA aeroplane? The impossible turn. I did a video showing various aeroplanes attempting the impossible turn with a crosswind, so turning both into and against, or sorry, into and downwind. And it was fascinating the amount of discussion it raised. Okay, we're getting close. So we're going to see our first of the Orbx airfields that's really tailored for this part of the world. So if you're wondering, when you see me look a long way left, I'm looking at the laptop screen alongside the computer to see what the live stream comments are saying. So let's keep our altitude for the moment. Where is the airstrip? Is that it? No, that's just the road. We'll have to circle back and have another look. It might not be exactly where the marker is. There it is. Which way's the wind? So it's going to be a crosswind, no matter what happens. trying to get a look at it before we decide on the best approach. So flaps down. Just descending in a sensible manner. So we'll come to a full stop down here and go and have a look at the airfield, see what they've modelled. Depending on the trees, we may not make this from this direction. We're okay. Again, I've gone and stopped it so quickly. We could have done it in the other direction. So what's down this end? Is there an aeroplane hiding down here? There is, isn't there? It's very pretty. You'd expect to see a pile of bits of other aeroplanes, wouldn't you? Okay, let's go and turn the engine off for a bit then. And, I mean, we could, if we wanted to be an absolute proper lunatic, go and do this. Go and have a look around. But I think we'll take the easier route, which is the drone camera. Oh, there's somebody. He's got out of his aeroplane. He's got his newspaper. I didn't spot him before. And he doesn't look very happy with what he's reading. Is that a fox? Or it's a wolf, isn't it? He's got a pet dog with him. He's taking it for a fly for the morning. And he's got the proper tyres for it, look. Unlike me. So that was the airstrip. You can see why they call them the deadly ones, can't you? All it really means is they cut a few trees down. But that's a great airstrip. What on earth is that? Oh, they just put logs along the way. Okay. It's just where various logs have fallen. And they've cut one down there, look, to make the entrance in. Oh, there's a deer down here. Standing very, very still. Oh, there's another one over here. I'm just starting to spot things now in the undergrowth. So we'll turn back around, and which is the safer way to climb out then? That's got hills in the way. That's got hills in the way. You can see why they're called the deadly ones, but the trees aren't as high taking off from this end. Okay, so we came in the right way based on the tree line. It's cool, isn't it? So we need to take off that way then. Let's go and press Shift X. I'll go and turn the avionics off before I turn the engine back over. We need to put the power on first, don't we? Avionics back on. Landing lights on. Shift space. Right. Time to move on to the next one. So we need to leave here. Let's go and have a look at the map before we even think about going. So we're going to take off this way and then double back to fly the creek to get to Dewey Moor. So full flaps, full power, release the brakes, toboggan down the hill. Missed the treetop there. Airspeed, airspeed, airspeed. Get a wide piece of valley to turn around in, and then we go look at the next one. Okay, off we go. It's turning into a sunny day now. Look, after all that horrible weather. So next airfield then is Dewey Moor. So we're going to fly around the creek to get there rather than try and go over the top, because that's probably a bit silly, because we would need to get 2,500 feet to do that. We probably could if we zigzagged a bit, but I'm not going to take the risk. But isn't it fascinating with the physics in the new simulator? You really do have to think about the wind and whether you're in the lee of the hill or on the windward side. It gives you something else to think about, definitely. Okay, so you can see now we're making our way around. So if we go and have a look here, the creek goes around there. So there is method to our madness. Yeah, when the sun comes out, it's nice. The rainstorms we had, you can see them still pouring down over there. They were not so nice. It's interesting that the trees didn't hit the wings when we were in the valley when we got into trouble. I would have thought they would. Obviously the tree trunks hit us, but not the trees themselves, or not the high branches. I wonder if they'll tighten that up in later versions or later updates. So we're just following the line of the creek. Let's have a little look at the map while we have the opportunity. Okay, so yeah, we follow the next right, and it takes us straight there almost. I'm conscious of giving ourselves enough height, so let's turn that huge amount of airspeed we've got at the moment into some altitude. I just want to make the valley a bit wider for us to be able to turn around if we need to. So we take the next right and then follow around to the left, and we should see Dewey Moor. And then we have to figure out how on earth we're going to land there. And take off again. It would be good if the sim had a crash model, but can you imagine the amount of work that would need to go into the airplanes to make them deconstructible? So you could, you know, rip part of a wing out maybe. There'd be a huge amount more development work needed. I mean, they could maybe play games with deforming the structures, but then that needs information in the structure to tell the simulator what it can distort and how it can distort it. You have to put pivot points in. Okay, let's have a look. We're starting to see, so it's on the corner somewhere. So you can see there's an aeroplane parked down there. Are they joking? That patch of grass along the bottom of the hillside is the runway. And there's a ridge in front of it. Oh my word. So we have to come in from this side. And we have to exit this side. So we're going to turn around. We'll just go over the top of this outcrop and drop into the river, or not into the river obviously, but whoa, we're being pulled down by the wind. I'm going to turn before we get there. So flaps are up. So if it doesn't look good, I will go around and we'll have another crack at it. So there's the airstrip. Could do with losing a bit of height. So side slip, side slip, side slip. Is that a bird we just missed? We're too high. Maybe we can get away with it. That was a bit dangerous, came down quite heavily, but it got away with it. Again, trying to stop too quickly. I didn't need to come in and stop just, you know, that quickly at all. On the way out, we'll see if we see those birds again. I'm certain we had a near miss with an eagle or something. I only saw it at the very last moment. So if we go and park right at the far end, in the turning area. So it's basically a ski jump takeoff, isn't it? You barrel down the hill. Let's go and have a look around then. There's a lady here we came past. A very nice cub. Super cub. That must be a known person to have like the McCall Mountain Canyon Flying something or other. What if it's a known aeroplane and pilot? Maybe. The scenery around here is gorgeous, isn't it? I mean, look at that. When the sun comes out, it's absolutely beautiful. So this was Dewey Moor airstrip. Let's go and jump back in. So flaps are on maximum. And we go out the way we came in and keep an eye out for eagles. So the next stop for us is we follow this canyon, or creek, I should say. So flaps are up, power is good. Oh, I was just reading the live stream comments. They're such their world is so full of sunshine. People are expecting me to be eaten by bears, bitten by snakes. They're expecting me to have an eagle go through the propeller. So these airfields are available from Orbx. So if you had them in 2020, if you bought them from the marketplace, once they've been made compatible, I imagine they'll become available in the marketplace again as a 2020 legacy thing. But I think I've got the 2024 versions. Did I? I shut the browser down earlier. So next airfield is coming. We can actually see it already. So this airfield is Vines airstrip. So we can land either direction. What about the tree coverage? It would make more sense to come in from the far end. There's no trees in the way. Unless we come in from the side. But it's an easier approach from that side. But then where do we turn? We'd have to fly to the end of the canyon and turn. Or just do a descending turn from higher up. Is that a pile of bits of aeroplanes? See now, look, we're flying along nose up, and we were descending then for a while. That was the wind again, caught us. So the wind is funneling along these valleys and doing horrible things. So let's scoot this side, and we'll try and turn around. We're being lifted by the wind as we approach this hillside. It's interesting, isn't it? So I'm just side slipping to bring us down to a sensible altitude and speed. And we'll try and do this smoothly instead of dumping the airplane onto the start of the runway. Just trying to kick a bit of speed out of the airplane then. Whoa, we had a huge amount of turbulence then suddenly. That was better. Kicking up the dust. That will please the campers no end, won't it, if we chuck a few tons of dust at their tent. Okay, let's go and turn the avionics off, turn the batteries off for the moment. Whoa, we're creeping forwards. I thought I put the parking brake on. I have now. Okay, we can go and have a look around. So this was Vines, wasn't it? Yeah, Vines airstrip, I-98 Delta, or Indigo 98 Delta. Oh, has he got a drone in the air? Where is it? He's looking that way. Where's his drone? God, blooming drones. They're a nightmare, aren't they? Nope, that's a flower. Where is it? That's the moon, that's not a drone. That's no space station. Also, no, that's no moon, that's a space station. There we go. Got the quote right in the end. So where's his drone? We'll find it when we smash into it. The scenery in this simulator is ridiculous, isn't it? It's so clever. So this is Vines. Lots of rocks to rip an undercarriage leg off. Some nice water over here, so we're going to have a look. Oh, there's somebody fishing. I didn't spot them. Very cool. I can't see any fish around. There's fish over there. Had a family. Whoa! I wonder if they appear in random places or if it's programmed. Sorry, this is supposed to be a simulator live stream. We've now turned it into a nature documentary about the Idaho backwood creeks and the native fauna and flora. All we need now... Oh, there we go. Oh, we're not going to see one up close, are we? They're so fast when they do happen. And now it's happening right in front of him. Wherever we're not is where the fish will jump out. Anyway, that was good fun. But yeah, the level of the scenery in Flight Sim 2024 is ridiculous, isn't it? Even when you go and look really closely at the pebbles. And the water masking around each stone. It's absolute craziness. Okay, let's go back over to our aeroplane then. We've seen vines. We're going to go and attempt to fly out of here. So before we do, it would probably make sense to have a look at the map. So we're going to be taking off this way, which is, what should we? That's with the wind. We'd be far better off taking off into the wind, which means flying quite a long way out probably to get to here, maybe to turn. But if we have to, we have to. It's the safer way of doing it, isn't it? If the wind is coming down this valley, there's no windsock, is there? It's a shame. If we had the camp out utility, we could go and build a windsock. Which is one of the nice things you can do with it. Cabin Creek is just around the corner then. I wonder what wind they've got on the ground. Will it tell us here? 90 degrees, 3 knots. See, that's the opposite way around, the wind coming that way. It must be funneling around. Okay, so we're going to taxi down and take off into the wind the opposite direction. So parking brake on. Batteries back on. Engine back on, avionics back on. And we'll taxi down. The tailwind would explain why we were sinking when we got near the ridge when we were turning around. When I was, trying to cut the throttle and glide. Whoa, gone too far. May have to get out and push. No, we're just about alright. Might have to get out and pick that bow up though. It would be easier to get out and push the wing backwards, wouldn't it? Which is what you might do in the real world. Rather than rely on the nose wheel steering. So full flaps. This gives us an extra bit of runway, to be honest. And here we go. So bootload of right rudder. And we're going to have to take off and go right immediately. Go for the gap. I could fly the river direction, but that seems just as foolhardy. So we need to find somewhere with enough room to turn. We'll get enough altitude to make the valley wide enough. I'm looking at this and wondering, can we do it here? No, we're losing altitude. We're going to have to go quite a way further. Maybe here? Yeah. So we just get over the edge of these fir trees and turn around. Okay. Off to the races we go again. So, the next... actually, we can do it here, can't we? Whoa, that zoomed out a lot. So this was Vines. The next one's just a little way further along the river on the left. Yeah, I put the flap. I'm just looking at live stream comments. I put the flaps up as soon as I was able to get the airspeed. So say goodbye to Vines. So there's the big hill we can see directly ahead of us. So we turned left at the base of it. And this will be Cabin Creek USFSO's fire service. It's a grass strip and it's set back a little way up the canyon, or the creek. I keep saying canyon. So we're just coming to the turn for it. So it's just up here. But again, we need to look at the wind direction. So it said 90 degrees, didn't it, earlier? So there's the strip. So 90 degrees would imply coming in from this side. So it is just the road, basically. So I'm going to stay tight to this side, loop back around, and basically do a circuit to come in. Or figure eight. So if we do a figure eight, like I said, we'll come over tight over to the left side, turn around, and just roll in. We actually have speed to play with this time. Flaps down. So do we... I guess we just drop over the edge of the trees onto the strip. It extends quite a long way past where the airplane's parked, so it's not as bad as it looks. We need to pick our point through the trees though, don't we? What's with the big pieces of wood? The reasoning is for that. It's a deer. Okay, avionics off. And we'll go have a look around. Animated deer for a change. So yeah, it's very secluded. Oh, someone said the wooden strips are for blind pilots, so they can count the. Oh, I've done that same trick again. Let's go and go further up the centre. Oh, there is stuff right at the far end as well. Then, so someone's got a campground. Oh, I should have come up here. Look, he's got some food. What's he cooking? Sausages. No, sorry, eggs and steaks. Oh, he's going to be our new best friend. And he's being watched. If you look behind him, there is a levitating. Now, I don't know what that is. An American viewer would probably know. Another stag over here. Okay, let's go and... Oh, can I see smoke in the distance? I didn't spot that when we landed. There's a cabin down here. Very cool. And a blue jay, is that? I think so. And a huge, great rook of some description up here. Oh no, it's the same thing we saw before. Anyway, as I said earlier, this is supposed to be a flight simulator live stream, not the wildlife and fauna of backwoods Idaho. So shift and X, and we go and turn the batteries back on, turn the engine back over, avionics back on. We'll go and get a run up. So we'll come barreling down this hill. Oh, there's a notice board. Should have gone and looked at it, shouldn't we? Okay, on to the next airfield. Flaps can come up immediately. Power can come back off a little bit. Look at the sun coming out. Afternoon sun. So we need to turn left. But we don't really have a good opportunity at the moment. Unless we might have to go look at the map, you know. Yeah, so we can just follow the creek. And it takes us to Soldier Bar. So the sun is creeping out through the trees there, painting the aeroplane with sunshine. Okay, let's go and zoom out. We can see the next airfield coming. So it's off to the right of the creek, a little way further up. It's a Soldier Bar. I think there's a memorial stone to a soldier at the airfield. There's a screenshot of it on the Orbx website. So we'll definitely go have a look at that. Is this another one here? Yeah, this is marked as an airstrip. Let's go and drop down and at least do a flyby to have a look. Just being careful of the airspeed. Let's see if we can side slip to get down here without overspeeding the airframe. It's going to be the most unconventional touch and go ever seen. Maybe one wheel? No, we're not going to do it. The trees were looming very quickly. Okay, keep an eye out then along the right hand edge. Is this it here? Or is it further along? I think it's further along. So let's have a look at the map. Is the strip is below the marker, okay. So we're going to have our eyes peeled and get some sense of where we are, what the wind's doing, what the trees are like, to have any chance. This is going to be nasty, isn't it? Is that it up here? Yes, it is. So we come in from this side. Which way's the wind? Yeah. So it's perfect for it. So let's stay up over this ridge. And then drop the throttle, barrel back around, present the side of the airframe to the airflow, so we're side slipping left. Go full flaps. We're going to be careful because we're into the wind, so the wind is coming off this edge and falling, and therefore it's going to pull us down with a downdraft when we get near the edge. To be ready for it to happen. That's why I'm staying a little bit higher than I normally might. Okay, engine off, and let's go and have a look around. So is this the same guy? How did he get here before us? McCall Aviation. And he likes his steak and eggs, doesn't he? Airplanes has seen better days, hasn't it? So there is a marker up here somewhere. Need to find it. It'd be a shame to come here all this way to this place and not find the marker. There it is. Harry Egan, killed in action, August 1979. That's very cool, isn't it, that they've replicated it in the scenery. Don't know who he was. Just get the drone camera back up to our aeroplane and we'll fire it up and carry on with the journey. So Shift X and have a look at the map. So we're going to come out of here and turn south. We've got 20 miles to run, so we could continue on a little way to go along the creek. And yeah, we can pretty much, although it's over the ridge, isn't it, to get to there. What sort of altitude is the... So it's 8,000 feet on the peaks. The alternative, I'm just looking for alternate routes. There isn't really an alternative, so we just follow the creek and climb as we go. Maybe we try the autopilot out for the first time as we turn south along here. That might work actually, so let's try that. Power on. Engine back on. How are we doing for fuel? We're still absolutely fine. Wave goodbye to the chap eating his steak. Got full flaps. Lift the flaps, get some airspeed, get the throttle back under control, and just fly the creek for a while. So we said we're going to extend out, yeah, slightly until this corner. So let's have a look and see how this autopilot works. Does it just put a normal autopilot in the cockpit for us? Yeah, you get a little basic unit here, that's fine. So we can dial in an altitude. Can we press these? Yes, we can. That's heading hold mode, I guess. So you've got altitude hold, flight director. Interesting. Why would you have a flight director? Oh, if you've got GPS, I guess. Or is it going to show a flight director over here? No. I'll have to turn off head tracking to set it. Otherwise the mouse is going to fly all over the place. But it hasn't got... That's wing levelling, I'm guessing. It hasn't got any pitch controls. So I guess you just use trim. So we're going to fly along this valley, put the autopilot on, and see how well it works. So there's the ridge, oh sorry, the river that we're going to follow the line of as we climb out towards 8,000 feet. We're at 5.5 at the moment. So, yeah, we're going to have to play around with this. So, at the moment, we are flying about 100 and, let's get it level, 160 degrees. Trying to trim the airplane, it's trying to go for the floor. Maybe it's got its own control of altitude, so I'll put altitude on, tell it to go to 8,500. Yeah, it's going 500 feet a minute. So it's doing it itself. Okay. I've not read the book. So, Slothyworth is asking, are you planning on doing another stream on the PMDG 777? Yes, of course. It's just there's only so many hours in the day, and I got requests to look at so many things. I've got a little Cessna business jet that somebody sent me they've built that I have yet to look at, which has I've been promising to look at. There's the RANS 6S I've had for several days. Haven't had a chance to look at because the Boeing 777 from PMDG came out. So yeah, it's one thing after another at the moment, I'm afraid. So let's see what this does. So I've switched on heading and altitude. So it's still climbing at a sensible rate. It's doing about 170 degrees. Let's turn that to 80. So that's working. So ideally, we need to look for a low point in these hills. We're climbing as we go. We're up to 6,000 feet now. It's not... No, it's holding level now, isn't it? So maybe that does have to work in that manner. You set a target. You put it on altitude mode and set a target. And it will start climbing, hopefully. Or not. Maybe you do have to set that. Just watching the vertical speed. That seems to be doing it now, doesn't it? So yeah, I'll be returning to look at the PMDGs, also the Inibuild's Airbus A350. I haven't looked at for a while, so I'll be going back to that and doing some flights in it. What else? The DC-9 has been obviously updated several times, so I covered it when it was first updated. I'll go back and have another look. There's the MD-80 to go fly. It's going to be an endless summer of cycling through lots and lots of different airplanes and being a bit of a journeyman, which sometimes has its downsides because it means I'm not really an expert at any of them. So I've got a question there about the autopilot modes for altitude in the Cessna. Yeah, they've got all sorts of ways of managing climbing or maintaining altitude. So you've got vertical speed mode. It depends what avionics kit they've got on board. If you've got G1000s, you've got, I think you've got speed mode, vertical speed mode, and obviously altitude hold. If you've got the more basic old, oh, I've forgotten what the unit's called, the autopilot with the dial on the right, then you can dial in an altitude, and yeah, you can choose vertical speed to get to an altitude. Or to hold. If you've got an airplane with a lot of the Coronados, the more advanced airplanes have got altitude pre-selectors in them as part of their autopilot or avionics kit, and that tends to be fairly straightforward as well. But they're not modelled very accurately normally. None of the Coronado pre-selectors work as they really should, or as the model that's fitted in them really should. They don't even agree with their own old documentation. They used to, then they changed it. So the arm buttons don't tend to work in the pre-selectors, or even on the basic autopilot units in the Coronados. The arm buttons don't work on the altitude selection. But there are airplanes where they do work. So things like the A2A Comanche works really nicely, but you'd expect it to because you're paying for it. The Coronados kind of hit a price point, so that it's more about accessibility. I'm flying by autopilot heading selector, which is not advisable. So we're still only at 6,000 feet, aren't we? How does this work? Should we go and have a quick read of the book while we're flying along? Ah. Doesn't look like I have a copy of the book, because I've got maybe an early version. Or maybe it's online. Should we go and have a quick look? RANS 6S documentation. That's the real thing. That's not an issue to us. Okay. Whereabouts are we on the route? So we could just double back, which will give us a way into Marble Creek without going over the ridge. I wonder if this is doing it by airspeed. If I was to increase the throttle, it started climbing. But no, it's dropped it again, look. Interesting, but we're nearly up to 7,000. Maybe it is. Maybe it's trying to hold airspeed to do the climb. So at the point, maybe at the point you select it. So if I say altitude hold, or if I cycle this, and then it goes to the height we're at, which is 7,000. But then if I slow us down, so drop it to 80 knots, then engage this, turn the altitude up, and then bring the power back. So I say that. Yeah, look at the vertical speed. So giving it the power now, with it at 80 knots, is it going to try and hold 80 knots? Maybe that's how it works. Seems to be a better... yeah. I think that's right. Okay. So we've got a little time to fly along this valley before we need to turn right. Should we have a look outside? Fuel economy seems to be amazing. Oh, saying that, it suddenly lurched down to 2. Yeah, we've used half of our fuel all of a sudden. So we might have to refuel at the next airfield. Yeah, I don't want to go full throttle because we already found out how to do the engine in earlier. Coming up to 8,000 feet. Yeah, so it's using speed mode basically when you select an altitude. So you need to have enough power left over when you engage it to be able to increase power to allow the climb to happen. It just takes a little bit of forethought. Amazing scenery, isn't it? So if we go and turn from here, we actually want to be flying about 238 degrees just across that ridge then. Say 240. Which way's the wind? So we'll be going straight into the wind, so we're not going to be pushed sideways. and then we'll drop into a Marble Creek before making the trip down to Sulphur Creek. But again, we'll use the autopilot for that. It's fairly long leg. Now we know how the power works with the autopilot. It's not such a big deal. So there's a lot of fire lookouts around here as well, which you can see some of them over here. Look, it's Middle Fork, and there again you can get them all from Orbx. They're really good. So you can go flying around the area, going via all the hilltops. So we're just traversing the peak here. We're at 8,500 feet now, so we can pull the power back a little bit. So Operator Starsky says you can use the canister to refuel it. In order to do that, you've got to add more than 35 pounds in the loadout editor to the rear compartment. Aha! So if we go and look at that while we're flying, we can go into the airplane and the mass and balance. So that's the fuel. And if you look in cargo, maybe you have to do it via this. Let's have a look. Maybe that's changed. Yeah, maybe they haven't got that quite working in the new sim yet to do that. Or you just put 32, yeah, like you say, £32 worth of cargo. And you can use that as fuel. It's interesting though. So, Marble Creek, here we come. So I'm going to turn the autopilot off. Do a rapid decompression, or compression even. You can see the airfield from here. I presume that's it. So side slipping along the mountain. So we're keeping an eye on the airspeed, but we're presenting the right side of the airframe to the airflow to slow us down. We can do the other side. It always looks slightly strange side slipping, doesn't it? Because we're essentially going that way by just skidding the aeroplane. So let's just throw the flaps down. We'll come in from this side because it's nice and clear. Straighten the airplane out. Skim the stream. That's the windsock. Whoa! Suddenly had a huge downdraft there and it sucked us straight into the floor. I'm going to leave the engine running while we have a look around. Just briefly, I don't think there's a lot to see here, to be honest. There's a guy fishing again. That's what he's came here for then. It's an expensive way to go fishing, isn't it? Is that rapids it's supposed to be illustrating here? Kind of works. It's quite a long airstrip really, isn't it? So, which is the safer way to go? I think we taxi back and take off this direction. It would be, otherwise you're going straight into a valley, which is not fun. Hang on though, look at the, where's the windsock? Oh, that one was it. Yeah, so that would be into the wind the other way as well. So we'll just taxi back. Should we try this refueling trick? I'll just go and taxi down to the far end then, turn us around. What's that stood on the bank? Is it a deer or something different? It's another stag, isn't it? So let's try this trick out. We'll put the parking brake on. We'll turn off the avionics. Stop the engine. And surrounded by dust. So in the tablet, if we go and that's for fuel planning, that's not actually the aeroplane. So fuel, and we've got the fuel in the tanks obviously there, but what we're saying is if we put enough cargo in, so I've got £100 in, let's put lots in just to see what happens. So reading the comments, you land, go out and click behind the cockpit. The canister emerges. Then click on the lid on top of the wing. Okay, so we put some cargo in. We've got hardly any fuel left. So we go, do we do this from the walk around mode? It may not work from the walk around, maybe, I don't know. Ah, is it this panel here? Nope. Behind the passenger door. There's a click spot here. What's that to do with? That will be the click spots for the chocks, won't it? £32 into the rear compartment, so fuel. There's only left and right though. Unless it means there's only a quick fill for the seats. There's no rear compartment weight. Yeah, in cargo, and I've put £200. Oh, I didn't load it, did I? That'll be why. So then I click this. There we go. So then is there a... How do we... we get to the filler cap? But if we're in walk around mode, how do we climb on the wing? Do we just click these? Yes. That's cool. That is very, very cool. I like that. So then if we look in the airplane now, what have we got? No, it still hasn't actually done it. The canister handle, okay. That's funny. Presumably you have to do both wings. We'll have a check. If we go and open this, can we see? Yeah, the right main's filling up. Look, that's cool. I like that. So thanks ever so much for that, Operator Starsky. That's very fun. Presumably it'll stop itself when it's done. I like that. That's a nice touch, isn't it? So we're just waiting for the filter. There we go. And then we go and uncork the other side. Are we too far away from it? Or we have to take this back off the roof maybe? I don't know. Yeah. What's the click spot still over there for some bizarre reason? We don't appear to have a click spot for the handle. Oh, I see. Okay, so you can only do one at a time. Okay, anyway, we had our fun with it. Let's go and fill the airplane up just with this, and because we want to just... Oh, has it broken it? Resume. Let's go and put this back on. Put that back away. And then can we load this now? Maybe we have to take that down on one side. Yeah, it's not balanced. Load. And then this one can come up to... It won't allow me to put any more in the left side now. I think we may have broken the aeroplane, you know. Oh no, it's working now. It's just taking a while. We'll put a bit more in. Can we can't use quick fill now. Look, that's interesting. Oh, we have to wait. Okay, load in aircraft, and it takes a while to do it. I've never seen it take a long time to do it before. That's interesting. So, Shift C, straight back inside. We'll put the map back on. Let's go and get the engine running. Batteries on. and we agreed that it was safer, yeah, to take off this direction. So flaps are full. We're going to have to follow the line of the river, I guess. It's going to be quite dangerous. This is why they're called the deadly airfields, I guess. We're coming up through 40 knots. I'll follow the river, get some speed. Oh, I just remembered something. Hopefully we can do this when we're in the air. I thought this airplane's feeling a bit heavy. It's because we've got this weight in the airplane. That's a bit better. So should we try and straight line it for the next airfield? That was funny. I suddenly realised they put 200 pounds in the back of the airplane. It made a huge difference on that takeoff. So I'll just hand fly this climb. We'll just keep the airspeed at sort of 65 to 70 knots. I don't want to thrash the airplane engine too much because we've done that before. We learnt the hard way with that. I want to get over that ridge that's in front of us, hopefully. We may have to circle. Going to hand fly the climb. May have to pick our route through the hills. And hopefully we'll get back to where we started from before the sun goes down. So if we turn right now, yeah, we'll fly out across here towards the sun, and that hopefully will gain us enough altitude eventually. Whoa, look at the wind pulling us into this hillside where it's coming over the edge of the hill. To give us a ton of nose up then to avoid that. So I'm actually using 3 or 4 pieces of scenery from Orbx today. There's the deadly what were they called? I can't remember the name of them now. There's the deadly ones, the not so deadly ones, and then there's several other smaller airports. There's also the fire lookouts packs, there's a couple of them. Those are really dangerous. They're really only suited to helicopters, but you can get in with some small aeroplanes. Things like the Savage. So we need to turn right, don't we? Actually, no, this is us up here. So we're looking to get somewhere where we can start to bear left without flying into a hillside. So we're back up to 6.5. I've just recalibrated the altimeter, and yeah, it's nowhere near that. Look, it's the weather has changed a lot since we took off, mind. Helps us stay realistic. We're getting a bit slow. If we have a look at the map, So we're following around the edge of here, then we fly over the top of Indian Creek. We could follow the valley for most of the way, actually. Yeah, that will work. Oh, that's okay then. So we'll turn left. It's a long airstrip there, isn't it? Must be used by the fire service, I guess. Did it say USFS? Yeah, it does, look. So it's a fire service airport. Oh, not airport, airstrip. Should we try this autopilot out again then? So, autopilot on. We want to be flying about 230 degrees. And altitude, hold on. 6.5 is fine, because we know we don't have to descend. And we can just toodle along through the valley, and I can go grab a coffee. More importantly. I hadn't actually noticed that strobe effect until somebody pointed it out, but I don't really mind it. From in the cockpit you don't notice it, really. How much does the airstrips pack? If we go into a browser and we go to Orbx, actually I'll do it via the anonymous, because then you'll see it for everybody, which you might be able to choose the currency, I think. Orbx direct. So the not so deadly 3 are 20 Australian dollars. Here we go, look, 12 US or 13 US dollars for the not so deadly 3. If you type in deadly, the deadly 3, so there is a 2024 specific version of it, for example, that's $20. So that comes with oh, it tells you other ones it comes with as well, but Dewey Moore, Simmons and Vines. And then you've got the fire lookouts as well. I need to look where I'm going in a moment. So Idaho fire lookouts, so you can see there in Australian dollars, but obviously you go look at them and you get the conversion rates. So 16 US dollars. Let's go and turn us across the valley a bit. Don't need the flaps anymore, do we? I was trying to climb and help the aeroplane get some altitude, but we need airspeed. But yeah, Orbx have got some really good deals on some of these packs of different airfields. Some of the best value ones on here at the moment are the France VFR. Or is it Paris VFR? I can remember. I can't never remember. Paris. No, it's France VFR, isn't it? France VFR. Here we go. So this is unbelievable value, really. Pack 1. There's lots of packs of them. That includes 5 pack in that one for $24. If we go France VFR and you say pack 2, I need to go and change our direction in a moment before we slam into that hill. Can we do it before we get there? Flying by autopilot is never a good idea, is it? Let's just have a look at the map, see where we are. So we really should... Yeah, we've gone the wrong way. We're going the long way round. Should we... I'm going to double back. That's where I got sidetracked talking to everybody. So we want to go that way. The France VFR sets of VFR airfields around France are brilliant, and you get loads and loads of airfields in some of the packs to go fly into. So while this is doing this, I can probably do this multitasking. Airport Pack 2 comes with another 5. So we've got the 32 VFR airports for $20. Yeah, so you get loads and loads of little VFR airports. Look at the list of them. And it is amazing. I did a tour of some of them in a couple of hour live stream a while back. It was great fun. So let's just check this route, make sure I'm on the right track now. I am on the right track now. So we need to just fly along this valley. We can stay low in the valley. So let's go and put the head tracking back on. Should we fly low along the river for a bit of fun? Just side slipping us into the river. Gives us something to do along the way, doesn't it? Okay. So I hadn't actually noticed I'd got to 40,000 subscribers until somebody mentioned it just then. I ought to go and have a celebratory cup of tea or something. I think my kids are looking forward to when I get to 100,000 and get the YouTube plaque for the wall. But I think that might take several years. I'm the world's worst marketer. So I have literally not marketed what I do at all. I've just used word of mouth completely. And work rate. So let's see where we are on the map. So we're still looking good. The sun's getting low, isn't it? I think this is the last of the dangerous airfields before we head back on a fairly long trip across back to McCall. So we might rewind the weather a bit to give us some sunlight, otherwise it wouldn't be very realistic to be flying a plane like this in the dark. So the rivers, yeah, I can see the criticism there about the rivers. I can see where you're coming from, but it's down to the level of data they've got and the you know, how much they want to invent with AI. It's a real problem, because the areas where they've got good data, they tend to be outstanding. So a good example is obviously around Yosemite. The streams through Yosemite are fantastic. So I need to be careful. This is being pulled into the ground again by the wind. Let's get away from the floor. Losing airspeed. Opening the throttle up. Straight line it across here to get some speed back. Let's stay a little bit away from the edge of the hills. The wind is whistling down through here and it's doing nasty things to a little aeroplane. That doesn't weigh much. I think the problem is if Asobo concentrate on one thing and make it really good everywhere, then people will just turn around and say, oh, I don't know, the wheel covers on that model of Cessna are wrong. Or something, you know. There'll always be something. Or the pine needles aren't falling. Or the tide doesn't go in and out. Or I don't know what it'll be, but we don't get any algae blooms at the right time of year. That's the trouble. The closer, it's the uncanny valley, isn't it? The closer you get to the real world, the more further away you actually seem to get, because it's the tiny details that make it seem odd. So yeah, like with the special effects guys, the amount of effort that goes into closing that last little bit of the gap of what you can tell is fake takes an enormous amount of effort. So, just reading that, saying the game doesn't run well on the 3080. I used to have a 3080, and I ran Flight Sim 2020 on it quite happily. But then 2024 is 4 years on, and it's been written for the latest hardware. So that's just the nature of the way of things, I'm afraid. And yes, you can dial settings down, but it's not just the GPU, it's the machine, how much RAM it's got, how fast your internet connection is. There's all sorts of things that play into it. I remember the same arguments on about I just saw the comment there about the landing lights being too bright or not bright enough. I remember the same argument with Gran Turismo years ago when they had some big push, it may have been Forza even, that they had titanium lights in some of the cars. And, oh sorry, tungsten lights. And there was outcry about it, saying, oh, they're the wrong colour. And you know, regardless that the actual driving simulator looked amazing, people were just moaning about the shade of colour of the headlamps at night of particular models of car, and got all up in arms about it. And it just made me smile, really. But I will admit, regardless of, you know, whether the simulator works well on different hardware configurations, I chose to, a long time ago, to get myself out of that by starting to save for a monster PC, which is what you're seeing me running it on. I actually see it much smoother than you do. For whatever reason, OBS always drops frames. I've never figured out why. I have played with it, I have monkeyed with its settings to get it to prioritize quality over you know, over letting the simulator be smoother. So, but no, OBS has always dropped frames. The only way out of it I can think is, which I know a lot of the professional streamers do, is to have a second computer that is just doing the stream and split the HDMI feed. You know, so the machine that's actually streaming isn't providing the stream, or the machine with the video game playing on it, which I know is the best way to do it. I just have never got around to it. And bizarrely, I have got another computer sat next door that could do that, but I would need to go and buy the hardware to split the HDMI. Okay, so the next airfield is coming. Let's have a look at it on the map. This is Sulphur Creek Ranch we're just approaching, and it's on the valley floor right in front of us, so we can just see it coming. So which way is the wind for us? So we would be landing from this direction, and it looks like we can go straight in. I've actually covered this in a video before. I visited it. I think it's a separate airfield you buy. It's not one of the pack. It was just because it was on our way, I thought it might be fun to come in here. So let's get into flaps range. So this is obviously a proper airfield. Oh, we got an eagle just flew by underneath us. So yeah, you can see there's smoke, there's cottages here, there's a clubhouse, there's all sorts of things. Go and park next to this. Is it a Skywagon? Looks like one. Okay. And I should have turned the avionics off first then, but oh well. So Shift X takes us outside. And we'll go and have a look around. So this is Sulphur Creek. It's pretty cool, isn't it? Is he reading the same newspaper as the one that was at the other one? Of the guy at the other airport? Can't quite see the text on this one. Something about an aeroplane crashing by the look of it, which doesn't surprise me around here. There's the fire. There's the girl that's been told to go do the barbecue, and she's got the red wine now. She's happy. Oh, they got sausages here, and they got sauce. Awesome. What else have we got going on? Oh, they're animated. He's watching us. That was creepy. He doesn't look impressed. He's still reading the politics, isn't he? She's on her mobile. pretending to talk to a friend so no one will talk to her. Or maybe she's talking to her. And they're making really scathing comments about everybody else. I think the people figures are always fascinating. That's the same girl, isn't it, that was at the other area where the aeroplane was parked. So he's got an Orbx bag. That's funny. She's looking pretty annoyed because he's bought a load of flight sim stuff. Well, we're going to have to get a move on. The sun's going to go down, isn't it? We may have to play games with the time in a moment. So we got a deer here. I thought there were some horses in here previously in the riding school. Maybe they're related to time of day. Or maybe they've changed it. There's a deer down here, look. Some campground. Somebody fishing. And more ducks. And fish jumping out. Very cool. Right, so we're going to get on our way. So that's Sulphur Creek. Obviously, you can see it's really nicely modelled. But it's a separate piece of scenery. It won't be too expensive. But if you like this part of the world, it's a great place to fly in and out of. So let's go and find our aeroplane. Here we are. Shift and X. Let's go and get the engine running again. So battery's on. Turn the engine over. Avionics back on. And how fast was the wind? It's quite quick, isn't it? 8 knots. So yeah, we'll taxi back and then take off this direction. So I've done, just reading the live stream comments there about the built-in 737 in the sim and things like that. I've done some beginner's guides on the channel. If you go and search for A320 beginner's guide or 737 MAX beginner's guide. So for the aeroplanes that come free with the sim, I've gone and covered them of how to get them up and running. And I've got written procedures for them as well that you can step through so you don't miss things out. Going to go into a bog in a moment, aren't we, and get stuck. Okay, here we go. Get some airspeed. Actually, let's try this without flaps. We've got a nice long strip here. Yeah, it's much easier, isn't it, without flaps? Get airspeed immediately. Another eagle. So we get clear of these hills, and then we're on our way home, basically. So about 290 on the compass at the moment. Okay, so autopilot is now taking us up to 8,500 feet, which should be good enough. Let's have a look. 7.5, 8. We're in between the hills here. What's this over here? 8,000. So that's 8.5 at the higher peaks there, but we're alongside them. Over here we've got 6.5. We're fine. And then obviously into lowlands on the way back. I don't think this goes that high. 7.5-ish. So a few degrees to the right and we're good to go on the way home. And we get to see the sunset. Okay, so this is a fairly long leg back across the hills to McCall Municipal. So I'm going to take the opportunity to have a bit of a break. I'm going to turn us a few degrees to the right. I'm just looking at the lowlands ahead to avoid any problems. So we're coming up to 8,500 feet. Should we go for 9? Okay, so I'm going to leave it on that view for a while. I'm going to go and grab a coffee and I'll be back in a bit. checking in on the aeroplane quickly. Let's have a quick look, see where we're going. Okay, a few degrees to the left. I'll be back in a moment. I'm just trying to do two things at once, which never ends well, but we'll see. So from here, measure distance. If we want to come out over the valley, following the kind of lowest route, it's about 285 degrees then. Let's just check along that route what the... Oh, that's 8.5-ish. These are really quite high, aren't they? Okay, we're going to deviate slightly off then to the left. Another 10 degrees left. That's what we commanded. We could do with another 10 really, couldn't it? To avoid this completely. That's more like it. The wind is pushing us back away from that anyway, and then we'll just correct once we get the other side. Good. I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, I'm back. So let's go and have a look inside the airplane. We've got lots of fuel. Fuel is not going to be a problem. We've now cleared the highlands. We're at 9,000 feet. So what's the elevation of McCall Municipal? It says 0 here. I don't believe that for a minute. 5,000 feet. Yeah, we got something else there, didn't we? Are we going to get there before the sun goes down? That's the question. because we've only got this tiny little light on the aeroplane. While we've been flying, look at the mess. God, it's going to need a hose down and a scrub. Might have to take a screenshot here, you know. There we go. And another one. How are we doing on engine health? It's okay. So just reading the comments in the live stream about various hardware specs. Yeah, some people have already gone for the 5 series NVIDIA cards, the 50, 80s and 90s. I'm probably going to skip the 50 generation because the gains are negligible over the 4090, but the power requirements are enormous, so it would cause probably cooling issues. So I may well wait and do the same again. I'll use this computer, which was the plan all along. Use this computer for 2 or 3 years and then replace it entirely again. And get a matched set of components from a hardware builder, you know, that knows what they're doing and has done all the temperature sensing and the stress testing of various hardware configs. So we're going to turn now towards McCall. So we want to fly about 300 degrees. By the look of it. McCall, did it have a tower? Because we have got... no, it's only got Unicom. I should have remembered that, really. So we're about 15 miles, 16 miles out. So we hopefully will get there before... Oh no, the sun's going to go down very soon, isn't it? It's going to be dark. Well, not dark, but certainly... not as bright as it is. So I'm in the UK, so I've never heard of Starforge. I suspect they're US, and given the tariffs, I don't think anybody will be buying anything from the US in a hurry for the next few years at least. My last PC came from a PC builder, a well-known PC builder in the UK called Novatech. So the one I've got at the moment is a Novatech PC, and the last one was a Novatech PC as well. They're very good. They're a big company, and that's half the attraction with me. It's a big company, it's stable, they've been around for decades. They don't have flashy showrooms. Aha, so Starforge. I chose my parts personally, but I chose to buy. I'd go for them. But yeah, Novatech have been around for donkey's years, and that was half the attraction. There's lots of other, you know, very, very good PC makers around, so they're by no means the only ones. It's just we used them a lot at work years ago, so I knew that they were trustworthy and just straightforward to deal with. They have very good interest-free hire purchase options as well, which is what I did with this PC that I've got. Rather than them have all my money immediately, I used interest-free credit. And paid for the PC over many months, which I've now paid for it, so it's not a concern anymore, but it was a good way to do it. Just looking for the airfield out in the distance. So once we do get there, then the altitude of the airfield was, I've done it again, haven't I? 5,000 feet. So let's go and drop some of this altitude. So the altimeter change is the speed mode altimeters change. So cutting the throttle is increasing my descent rate. Let's come off autopilot and just fly in now. Come in quickly. Right on the edge of the yellow line on the airspeed. We can see the airfield over there. Trying to get there before the sun vanishes. It's about to vanish. Yeah, you can just see it peaking above the hills over there. Hey, we're almost there. Twilight. Racing across the ground as fast as we can to get the plane on the ground before it starts to get properly dark. This has been good fun. I've not done a flight like this for such a long time. There was obviously lots of really instructive bits in it as well, like the bad weather at the start and getting caught out in a creek where the altitude was increasing and we had nowhere to go and we ended up in the trees. Which just shows how it happens. It was really interesting. So the house lights will start to come on in a moment. Some of the street lights are coming on. There's the airfield right in front of us. The sky crane on the same side as the the fire service aircraft. That's the fire service station over there. We're rolling along because all of the buildings for the municipal side are on this side, at the far end. Back in time for tea and medals. So 146. There's another sky crane of some description here. Fire station with the fire trucks parked out front as well. Very cool. Okay, let's go and find somewhere to park. This'll do. Okay, we survived. Well, apart from the one trip into the trees, eh? Okay, why is the propeller jittering? That's unnerving. Should we just kick the engine over to make it stop doing that? Okay, I think we've broken the airplane. Turn the fuel off. Oh, the Xbox controller, yeah, it's got stuck, hasn't it? We're not going to worry too much about that. Let's go and have a look around and see where we're actually going to be headed next, which is going to be right over here. Time. Oops, for a drink. So I hope you've enjoyed that today. That was a good look around the deadly and not so deadly airfields from Orbx and some of their other airfields as well. Obviously, McCall Municipal is one of them. We obviously covered a lot of ground there, several hours in the air, and I doubt if I'll be doing another flight quite that long for a while. So I'm going to go and have a coffee and sit down and figure out what I'm going to do next. Okay. See you all soon. Take care. Thank you ever so much for watching.